Hey, welcome back to Brixie Studios educational series. This is Brixie Studios Ceramic Theory. And ceramic theory is going to take us down a little bit different avenue. It's kind of the idea, study of why we do what we do. And of course, it may be a little bit more in depth on technicalities, but welcome. And if you don't mind to check us out in the links below and the comments, and maybe hit that like button for us and subscribe, and of course the notification. That all of those makes a big difference for us and how we can keep our business going. Again, welcome. Let's dive right in. Today we are going to be studying ergonomics, okay, and more specifically what those are. And I just put up the basic definition here so that we didn't have any kind of miscommunications. I didn't want to misquote anything, so this is the actual definition. It is the study of the efficiency in a working environment, a study of humans. And how did they interact with the environment that they're working in? How do they touch what they're doing? How does the machinery react to that person? And in this case, it's not just like for machinery, it's for anything. And we are studying it in the way that pottery touches the human hand. And I'm using a serving bowl here. It's a little bit bigger than a typical dinner bowl. This is just, it's about a 3-pound serving bowl. And I'm trying to illustrate here that the ergonomics of this vessel lend itself to the functionality of the vessel. It makes you want to pick it up. It's curved in such a manner that it naturally will fit into the contour of cradling hands. And there are, of course, a continuity of curvatures that occur from the very, very center, the bottom of the foot on the inside of the bowl, all the way up the side, across the rim, and to the outside of the bowl. And what that does is it lends itself to a better ergonomic feel, not only visually, but with your hands, a physical ergonomic difference. And when we start to apply that to professional pottery, we start to really pay attention to how this impacts our sales, it can absolutely change what you wind up having to provide the public. And in saying such, we can give another example here. This is just a basic example of how you're going to adjust your coffee mugs. This is one of the greatest things that you're ever going to have to work on as far as a professional potter, or even just somebody who's doing this as a little bit more serious than just a regular hobbyist. You have to make sure that this coffee cup fits in your client's hand, and not just fits in a hand, but makes them want to hold your coffee cup time and time again. So what do you need to make sure of when you're holding a coffee cup? First off, you don't want to burn anybody, so you can't have that handle too close to them. You want your negative space to be correct. You want your handle to be shaped correctly so that it doesn't cause any kind of pressure points. Again, there are all of these minute details that you may or may not be aware of, may or may not have thought about, but they are most important. And if you don't have them in place, or at least thinking about putting them in place when you're making your vessel, whatever it may be, in this case a mug, then you're not really paying attention to how people are going to be reacting, or how people are going to move in reaction to picking up your mug. How is it going to fit their hand? How is it going to fit their mouth, which is form, fit, and function here. That's kind of the relation. That's another one of my videos that we can reference, but ergonomics will have an impact not only on your forms, but on your fit and your function. Because ergonomically speaking, you want your form to lend itself to the function if you are going down that route. In other words, you want your vessel to look like what it's used for. You see, and you would say, well, yeah, Kip, that's kind of a moment of no kidding. Everybody can figure that out, but it's not that simple. Not everybody can figure that out. You want it to look just like it feels. You want it to look just like it needs to function. Now, the problem with that is ergonomics can get really crazy, and it can absolutely change the way you see how the function could be used through the vessel. So the particular example that I'm trying to illustrate here is more of a handle type. It's comfort for your handle. It's a comfort for your hand, and one could argue ergonomics, just for the hand. And if you look right here, when I move my hand forward, if I was to hold the handle like I just did and move my wrist forward, it's pouring like a pitcher. And what I'm trying to say is, if you just make some small adjustments, something like take that handle and remove it from the back, remove it from being in line with your spout, and change it so that it is 90 degrees to it, or perpendicular. And you add a little tiny little knob of clay at the bottom where your handle used to be. Now it will force your hands to be locked, or wrists, I should say, to be locked. Instead of pouring forward like that, which is actually quite painful if you have any kind of trouble with your wrist or arthritis, it's going to hold your wrist in such a manner that, again, directly across instead of 90 degrees, but it's going to hold your wrist in such a manner that you're pouring like this, where you tilt to the left, you twist your wrists instead of trying to bend them or flex them forward. You're not giving the same kind of motion. See, that's very uncomfortable. That right there is very comfortable. That right there is much easier, especially because you're using two hands, but also because of the placement of the mug handle, or the pitcher handle. In this case, it's mug, but in the pitcher handle, you can change things around and really do a lot. So it's important here. I'm just doing some final notes on how your handle fits the mug itself and how the negative space affects things. That's another video for us to control, or to study with our ceramic theory and our control of our handles. But more importantly, what you need to pay attention to right now are the two connection points. And what I'm trying to illustrate here is that if you have a mug handle that's even upside down, it may not be upside down. And what I'm saying in this particular instance is that mug handle right there, which would be the apex of a handle normally, will fit in your hand very comfortably if you put the handles on upside down. And upside down is just upside down because it's not what we're used to. There's really no right side or wrong side. It's just what traditionally we've seen. And that's why it's up to you to break that mold and change up your ergonomics just enough so that you can make products that people actually want. They may not look like they make a lot of sense right off the bat, and that may give some sort of hesitation to the indication of the function, but will it change things enough that you have provided yourself with additional sales or with additional public relations or marketing comments because people are responding better to how you've set up your product? They're responding better because they can use it. They're responding better because they enjoy those forms. And that's a big deal. That's a really big deal. So make sure that you're taking enough time to study just a few of your pieces. You know, pick out your coffee mug, like in this particular instance, or pick out your pitchers. Something that you know is a big seller for you, that is absolutely in need, whether you know it or not, in need of working it over just a little bit. Make a tiny change. See how people respond to it. See if it makes a difference for how you respond to it. If your body makes a comfortable change, then it's likely that you will find other people that will also make a comfortable change to fit your particular forms. Okay, so remember, it's not always going to look like what we have, a traditional form. It could be something totally different, like, say, a handle on the side and a knob at the bottom. The last thing I want to talk about is, why does it matter? Why does it matter? Who cares? Everybody. Everybody cares. That's the answer. Nobody really knows they care, but everybody cares. If you can affect the functionality of a piece in such a manner that other people who are struggling to use the product normally can continue to use it, you are affecting their overall health. You're affecting the persons that can use your pieces. You're affecting your base sales crowd. And ultimately, you're affecting the overall livelihood of the people that you are claiming that you care about selling your product to. If you really care, then make it look like you really care. Show it off by taking care of the people that are buying your stuff. change it up a little bit. Make the ergonomics match such that they feel comfortable interacting with your pottery. Anyway, I hope it has been something of a good theory for you, something to expand on. Ergonomics is not simply one shot at this. Rather, it is a huge study, and I encourage you to take small steps towards big changes. I want to thank you for watching Brixie Studios Ceramic Theory videos, and remember, check out our links, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the notification button. And thanks again for joining us. Look forward to seeing you soon.